Hi there, welcome to Kneppyinvest and welcome to what day is today? The 4th of November 2024. You might notice that I am recording this particular video in a different setting. That's because I'm getting a lot of tradespeople through the house and I've had to move location. I'm also recording this video a little bit later than usual because I have been completely busy until right now. And right now is exactly 4 p.m. Brisbane time, or 5 p.m. Sydney, Melbourne time, or daylight saving time, which means the market has been closed for about 1 hour. Yes, for about 1 hour. And to be honest with you, I haven't really focused on what's been happening on the ASX today. Okay day, particularly when it comes to the XJO, XAO, and particularly tech up 1.23%. Looks like resources or mining down a little bit today. So possibly a fairly, maybe not fairly, by a bifurcated market. So some sectors up, some sectors down. And we'll have a look at that, the ASX today. What are the best and worst performing sectors, indices, and also companies in a second. Now, I have a feeling this video is going to be a little bit quicker than usual. And so that means I will skip trading economics, skip the capital brief. I might have a quick look at this, very quick look, just to see if anything interesting has happened that I might have missed. And nothing much there at this point in time. Although I did notice that MinRes was down a fair bit. So RBC says MinRes removal of Chris Ellison is a positive. So I discuss mineral resources later in the video. In fact, I haven't come up with the top 5 stocks of the day. In fact, I've only written 3 companies down. Westpac, Beamtree, and also MinRes. So I might discuss 2 companies listed in America, Atlassian and Roblox, just because both of those companies' share price went on a little bit of a tear when they reported their quarterly numbers. Okay, so let's talk about the ASX today. Let's focus on different sectors. And yes, so in fact, 5 sectors up by over 1%, including 3 up by over 1.5%. So pretty good day for IT, utilities, telecommunications, industrial, healthcare. So most likely CSL had a pretty good day. Even financials up a fair bit. But on the flip side, mining, materials and energy down by between 0.5 and 0.7%. So if you have a look at the XTL, which was up 0.6%, I have a feeling we might see a few companies down, mining companies. Not sure about iron ore. So I'm going to assume BHP, Rio Tinto, Fortescue are down, Woodside's down, Santos is down, and then most of the other companies are up. So I'm going to say 15 companies up. No, 14 up, 6 down. Let's see how right I am. 14 up, 6 down. Oh, close. 13 up, 7 down. And the worst performing companies in the XTL or the ASX 20, if this works. For some reason, it's not working. There it goes. There we go. Fortescue, Rio Tinto, and BHP, 3 of the 4 worst performing companies. So iron ore must be down. QBE, negative day as well. Not sure why. Macquarie Group down. Now, that's interesting. And then Woodside. Don't see Santos. Is Santos in it? No, Santos not in the ASX 20. There you go. And the best performing companies in the ASX 20, WiseTech, tech company. In fact, WiseTech has recovered really well. I noticed the share price did drop below $100, and I thought that was an interesting price, and it's increased over 20% since then. REA Group, pretty good day as well, up 2.26%. And Transurban up 2.1%, and there's CSL up 1.68%, and CBA up 1.59%. Interesting, that means CBA is becoming even more expensive. How far can it go? Okay, so let's get to the best and worst performing companies on the ASX today. I'm going to say I might spend a little bit more time on this. So top gainers by percentage change, Merino and Co., or as I like to call it, Mid-North Coast. This is a recent listing. I did talk about this company. Was it last week? Either Friday or maybe it was Thursday. I'm having a very quick look now. No, I can't remember. Anyway, recent listing up 92.5%. It's out of my, I wouldn't say wheelhouse. It's out of my. I have rules. I do have rules. Don't invest in IPOs unless they have released their first set of results as a listed company or they release a profit upgrade. Merino and Co. have not done that. They've only been listed for 3 or 4 trading days, but for some reason, the market likes it. Merino and Co. up 92.5%. So you've done a fairly good, had a fairly good few weeks or few trading days if you bought into the IPO. Another company called Ordell Minerals up 75% on pretty big turnover. Obviously, this company did release something. So let's have a gander. And for some reason, I have closed ComSec. There it is. So what company is this called again? Ordell Minerals, a company I've never heard of. So obviously, they're a mining exploring company. We can have a guess on what they are exploring. I'm going to guess gold. And the only reason I say gold is because that's the most likely. I'd say there's more junior gold exploring companies than other exploring companies for other commodities. So let's have a look at Ordell Minerals. What did they release today? High-grade gold mineralization intersected at the Barramata. Typically, when you see a company increasing or mining speculative company, exploring company increase by this amount, usually it's drilling results. Sometimes it's an acquisition, or sometimes maybe it's a takeover. So this is drilling results. I won't open up, have a look at it, but the market likes it, up 75%, and it is gold. So it just shows you, if you take the most likely route, you're more than likely going to be right. On some occasions, you'll be wrong, but more than likely, you're going to be right. Okay, so let's have a look at the chart for Ordell, ORD. Is this a reason to be excited? And I think the answer to that is not really. Now, the share price of this company has been, well, actually, I would say this is another bit of a fault with TradingView. There was another company listed on the ASX with the ticker code ORD that delisted back in 2013. And for some reason, TradingView doesn't distinguish between that company and Ordell. It just assumes it's the same company. So this chart is completely wrong. So what I might do is go to ComSec and have a look at this chart. This looks like it's a recent listing. So for instance, if you go to the 6-month chart for Ordell, this company listed back in July. So we're talking about 4 months ago, just under 4 months ago. And today, look what happened. Beautiful run in the share price. So obviously, those who did take part in this IPO are loving life right now, unless they sold out a little bit prematurely. Would I consider this a breakout? Well, we have a very small sample size, but the share price is at an all-time high. And it's on massive volume. Look at volume in ComSec. Massive volume. Market likes it. And the share price closed near the high of the day. Interesting enough, the share price opened about 25 cents. So this has been a bit of a plaything for day traders today. And the whole reason I say that is because the share price ran up fairly, if you have a look at the 1-minute chart, you'll notice the share price just increased all through the day. So it didn't pop up on open, it just rallied, and the volume remained pretty high all day. Anyhow, sort of outside my, what do I call it, competency, well outside my competency, Ordell Minerals. Unfortunately, my setting right now is outside my usual room. I usually close the room so the dogs don't come in. And right now I have one of the dogs just walking around me and panting. I gave him a treat, but they finished the treat because it takes them like this to finish a treat. Anyway, let's move on to any other companies that look interesting in the top gainers by percentage change. Nothing of note. You might differ. But let's have a look by market cap. Let's see what companies have done well today. Serco, Strike Energy, Meteoric Resources, Synlait Milk, SKS Technologies. I did talk about that company. They had a really good day on Friday, and looks like that momentum has continued in today, up 6.92%. And I'm going to be honest with you, nothing else of... What about Shine Justice, up 8.75%? Not the sort of company business model I do like, because they are... the talent is like, what's labor intensive? I suppose that's what you can call them, labor intensive. The talent is people, lawyers, and I just don't like that. I prefer the talent being non-people, if that makes sense. Anyway, but I have a feeling the share price popped up recently. Now, sometimes my feelings can be wrong. We're looking at the 1 minute chart. So let's go back to the daily chart. Yeah, so this actually chart is starting to look a little bit more interesting. The share price did pop up a couple of months ago and then it's gone sideways. And now it's a little pop up today. I don't think the company released anything today. I could be wrong. So let's have a look at Shine Justice. Now, you remember that bad episode with Slater and Gordon? Probably 2016, 2017? Shine Justice was significantly negatively affected by that because of work in progress. They had to readjust how they accounted working in progress, if that is a word. And you can see the share price. By the way, they did not release anything today. If we have, go back to the chart and go all the way back to, say, 2016. You can see a massive drop in the share price. Huge drop in the share price. And that day was the 29th of January, 2016. So we're talking about over 8 years ago, almost 9 years ago. Can't believe I remember that. And the share price dropped by 73% on that particular day. Now, interesting enough, look at the chart before that happened. The share price was in a downtrend. This was after the share price was in a beautiful uptrend. So sentiment change, share price moving in a downtrend. And technically, if you were a chartist and if you just bought companies' shares based off the chart, you would not have been in this. So a lot of people might have been, wouldn't say completely destroyed, but they would have lost a lot of money because they thought this company had the future and they didn't look at charts. So that is one of the advantages of charts, because a lot of times when a share price of a company drops like 70%, a lot of times the share price is already in the downtrend. Not all the time, but a lot of times it is. And on that day, share price dropped to, was it 50 cents? Yeah, and the share price hasn't really recovered since then, has it? No. Anyhow, but when it comes to this company, I don't care about the long term. This is not a long-term hold for me. This is not a quality company. It's all about what's happening right now. And this chart right now does look interesting. I'm going to just say that right now. This chart does look interesting. Shine Justice. I'm going to have to write that down because I will forget if I don't write it down. And a lot of times this is one of the reasons I go through this process. I find potential plays, and this is a potential play. Anything else here? Now, I'm going through this fairly quickly, but after I finish recording this video, I do go through other processes. So I have a look at some screeners, and I won't do that in this particular video. Okay, so let's go have a look at the top losers today. Okay, a company called Mika Metals down 19.54% on pretty big turnover. Let's have a look at this company release anything. So what I'm looking for here in choosing the top gainers, top losers, I'm looking at pretty big turnover, because a company can drop or rise by a fair bit of amount on like one trade, and that's not significant. In fact, that's complete opposite. That's insignificant. So this company did not release anything. So they released, they did. Today is the 4th of November, isn't it? I have a feeling I remember seeing something, buyback, yeah. Let's go back. What was this one again? Mika Metals. So they did release something today. Yeah. Building an unhedged zero debt gold producer presentation. Okay. So they were in a trading hold. They went into trading hold on the last day of October, and they're doing a capital raising. So usually when a company does a capital raising, I just move on. It's obvious enough why the share price has dropped. They're doing a capital raising at a discount. And this is another company I've never heard of. Let's have a look at the chart for Mika Metals. And interesting enough, the chart does look good. I do not blame the management of this company for doing a capital raising. This is exactly what they should do. Share price has run up a fair bit. In fact, it's doubled over the last 4 months. And that's exactly when you should do a capital raising. The share price has run up like this, and more than likely it's at a discount. And I do like the increase in volume, although the largest volume day was today. So let's go back to top losers by percentage change. Ooh, EZZ Life Science down 14%. Okay, this is a company I'm quite thankful I did take profits at 460, but I did not completely sell out. So maybe I should have completely sold out. Maybe I should have trusted what I was thinking about the chart. The share price was going up way too quickly for my liking. Share price has pulled back. Company has not released anything. I wonder if Biome has done the same thing. Let's see if Biome's down. Yeah, Biome's down too. So I do sort of compare these companies. Maybe that's a little bit unfair to both companies. And they both, I wouldn't say relied on China. Definitely EZZ. I'm trying to think if Biome has a fair bit of business in China, but definitely EZZ do. So maybe something negative did happen in China. I'm going to go to Trading Economics just to see if something's happened in China today. China stocks rise as key meeting begins. Oil rises. Nothing about China. This could be just a bit of negative sentiment. Anyway, let's have a look at EZZ. So I don't have a sell price. This reminds me a lot of EZZ back in July. So 29th of July, the share price of this company dropped 15.4%. And then it went sideways for about 2 weeks, and then it moved back into its uptrend. So will that happen again for EZZ? I just don't like how we've seen quite a few big down days over the past 2 weeks. In fact, we've seen 3 big down days. So someone is selling. Let's have a look at the 1 minute chart. Was this consistent selling? Oh, look at that. Someone dumped. Someone dumped on market at 12:59 or 1 p.m. They dumped a fair bit. So fair bit, and they just dumped. They sold on market. So nothing, no trades being put into the list. What do you call it? On limit. They just dumped on market, and the share price went from 340 down to 320 on one dump. That can actually shift sentiment, and then we saw some selling coming in. Share price was forced down because of that. Share price going sideways before that. So that's all I can take is someone to dump their shares on market. In fact, I consider dumping on market, like this person would have done, or this institution, pretty stupid, because you could have got 340 or 350 if you do it smartly, if that is a word, smart. And so you do lose a little bit of money. Now, one of the reasons they might do it is to force the share price down. So they might be trying to manipulate the market to force out sellers, put fear into the market, but that's a fair bit of shares sold on the one trade. I'm assuming it's a one trade because this is 1 minute, and I don't think there would be many. It could have hit some stop losses too. That's a possibility. Anyway, so that's EZZ and Life Sciences. Pretty bad day, and Biome had a pretty bad day as well. Now let's have a look at by market cap. So we should see Biome and what's the other one? EZZ in this. So MinRes. I will talk about MinRes when we get to the top 5 stocks of the day. And I'm just trying to see if there's anything else. Frontier Digital Ventures still going down. That is interesting. So the share price rallied really strongly, and now it's going the other way. They're doing a strategic review. That's 1 minute chart. Let's go back to the daily chart. Yeah, look at that. Run up and then drop all the way back down. So it's gone from 52 cents down to 42 cents. What else is in here? AVJennings. I do know AVJennings did release some sort of trading update today. I should force out. I did not have a look at this trading update. It's not the company I do like or even think about. I should trade out Atlassian or Roblox or AVJennings. I'm going to get rid of Roblox. I might have a look at the chart of Roblox later. Anyway. Intelligent Monitoring Group, down again. Gee, that's just collapsing. That's shocking. It's really interesting because I'm a little bit behind when it comes to AusBiz The Core, maybe 1 week to 2 weeks. And this company was featured maybe a week and a half ago. And one of the guys said, this is a strong buy. So this would have been when the share price was towards 80 cents. Share price is now 50 cents. This is extremist selling. And to be honest with you, I'm not that surprised because when I did have a look, and this was the catalyst for this sell-off has been the quarterly results. And I had a look at the quarterly results and I was, I don't understand why the market is in love with this company because they have a fair bit of debt and they are struggling to become operating cash flow and free cash flow positive. And that's the most important thing. So share price has fallen a fair bit. I would say this is definitely oversold. I would not be surprised to see a pretty good bounce sooner or later. And if there's not a bounce, that's really negative. If you want to know how to just, I know this is oversold just by looking at it. If you don't really know whether the company is oversold or overbought, just have a look at RSI. I will have a look at this on occasion, but I don't really need to look at it. It's oversold. Yeah, there we go. Oversold. It is oversold today when it's oversold. That does not mean it's going to bounce, because back in, well, it sort of did. When it was overbought, it actually did pull back. It doesn't always pull back when it's overbought, and it doesn't always bounce when it's oversold, but it is oversold right now. So this could be a bounce trade. Could be. I'm just going to say that. Could be. And what else? Top losers. Nothing there. Okay. Let's get to the top 5 stocks of the day. And let's start off. I'm going to put Atlassian and Roblox as number 5. Why not? And both companies released their quarterly results. Look at this is Atlassian. I'm a little bit disappointed this company did not list on the ASX. This would be an absolutely brilliant company to hold over the past 6 years. It listed in 2018? 2016. Oof. Some people might say, well, Australians wouldn't have appreciated this company. That's BS. Look at some of the other companies, tech companies on the ASX. In fact, they are more overvalued than American tech companies, although Atlassians don't think is profitable just yet. Anyhow, is this a breakout? This is the stuff I'm looking for. Share price on a bit of a tear back in early August, increased a fair bit, and then it went sideways for about 2 weeks. Look at that, beautiful sideways movement. Really nice consolidation, exactly what I'm looking for. And then today, or what's today? So Friday, they released their quarterly results. Share price popped up 19%. Okay, I have no idea why it popped up. So all you want to do is Atlassian share price. There's probably like a Motley Fool article about it, why it popped up. I can't spell it. It does not have 2 S's or 3 S's. It has 2 S's. Atlassian subscription revenue rises by a third. Let's have a look at the news section. Atlassian stock skyrockets 17% after crushing Q1 expectations. That's all I need to read. So there were expectations for their Q1 results, and they smashed them. What I also could do is go to NASDAQ. Where's my earnings calendar? And go back to Friday. And what's the market cap of Atlassian? What is the market cap of Atlassian? No, it's definitely not team. What? I think it's just team. It's not showing up. Maybe you have to put the name of the company in there. Here's one. Why Atlassian stock soared today? Oh, it's Motley Fool. So you probably get a little bit of information here. So they generated revenue of nearly $1.2 billion, which was up 21% from the prior year and ahead of expectations. Moreover, its cloud revenue jumped 31% year over year, which is encouraging, considering management has worked hard to get customers to adopt the cloud. At the end of its fiscal 2024, management had expected 4-year revenue growth of 16% for fiscal year 25, including 23% revenue growth for cloud. But after its Q1 results, it raised overall revenue expectations to 16.5 to 17%. So this was sort of a profit upgrade. So beat expectations, profit upgrade. You might be saying, well, it's gone from 16% to 16.5 to 17%, and the share price has increased 19%. That just shows you all you have to do is beat expectations by a little bit or increase your expectations by a little bit, and the share price will go up a fair bit. And flip side, if you miss expectations by even the smallest amount, the share price will crater. So that's Atlassian. Coming in number 5, and the other company was Roblox. What is it? RBLX, I think. And I just noticed, I didn't know this company released the results. All I noticed was a chart. The share price, so this was a couple of days ago, share price actually increased on the Thursday session by 20% and then went sideways. But the thing that really stood out for me when it comes to Roblox is this is a breakout. This is a classic breakout. The share price for this company is at 2 and a bit year high. So this is exactly what I'm looking for. And that's why this company stood out. Not their results. Don't even know what happened. It's just the chart. So Atlassian comes in at number 5 alongside Roblox. But Roblox, because of the chart. I'm not even sure if they are profitable, in fact. Let's have a look at the last annual results. $2.8 billion in revenue, a loss of 1.15. How do you make $2.8 billion of revenue but lose 1.15 billion? So I know what some people would say. They're spending money to make more money in the future. It's sort of like a land grab. Anyway, I still don't understand it. I still don't understand why you can generate so much revenue but still not be profitable. It's weird. Anyway, the chart looks spectacular. So that's Roblox. Equal number 5 stock of the day. Okay, let's have a look at AVJennings. I'm pretty sure this is a home builder. I actually could be wrong. I've always thought of this company as a home builder. So I might be completely wrong. So they did release a business update today and the market didn't like it. Share price down almost 10%. And this is where I discover that I've thought about this company completely wrong. They should have about section, and they do not. Shame, shame, shame. They do have a presentation. They probably say what they do in this. Let's have a look. They're talking about settlements. Retail contracts were signed. No new land acquisitions. So it does sound like a building company. But we just confirm that with this. Creating communities for over 90 years that people love to call home. So Phil Kearns, is that old rugby player? I'm assuming he's pretty old now. I'd say he's like 60. I'm going to sound awful. If he's not 60. 57. 57, yeah. Does it say he's Atlassian? Now, there may be a few people with the same name. No, it doesn't mention anything about that here. I suppose I could Google it. Anyway, so they do develop communities. So that's probably houses and that sort of thing. So I'm on the right track when it comes to this company. So let's see why maybe the share price did drop today. So when I'm reading this, I don't see anything of note. During 122 lots were settled at a value of 50.4 million, an increase of 29%. Settlement volumes were up 82%. Inquiries were stable. Inquiry levels in SA significantly up. Victoria and Queensland are stable. New South Wales inquiries were slightly down. I don't know this company very well, well enough to know why the share price is down. It could be just noise. So what I could do is just Google it. AVJennings, and maybe someone has written an article why the share price is down. Let's have a look. There we go. Strong Q1 for AVJennings with 29%. So someone says it's strong. That's Share Cafe. TipRank says strong. AVJennings profit sinks after writing off 17.8 million, but 28th of August. That's it's a while ago. Okay, no idea. Possibly this is just noise, and maybe I'm just barking up the wrong tree. So let's have a look at the chart for AVJennings. First time I've ever had a look at this company. And the chart does nothing for me. Chart does nothing for me. And funnily enough, I reckon this is just noise. Yeah, I think there's just a bit of noise. No big volume, which tells me no one was rushing for the exits. It's not, this is just noise. I should have left AVJennings out. Anyway, that is AVJennings coming in number 4. Coming in number 3, which one shall I do? I haven't listed the other 3 companies. Let's do Beamtree. The share price of Beamtree was under a little bit of threat, under a little bit of pressure. I'm trying to remember why it was under pressure. Was it Tim Kersley stepped down as Beamtree's CEO? Now, the company released a trading update today. And you can see by the share price, up 13%. This trending update was pretty good. I did actually have a look at this, a very quick look, because again, I've been busy today, and I thought, it sounds pretty good. I don't mind this one at all. Beamtree continues to perform in line with previously disclosed financial year 25 outlook guidance. Revenue growth of 16%. I do like this operating loss of 0.2 million versus loss of 0.8 million. We expect to deliver a break-even position for the 6 months to this 31st December 2024. So it seems like things are moving in the right direction. Reduce capitalized software development spend by 40%. That's interesting because the next paragraph down, or the next bullet point down, so $4.3 million of cash, down from $5 million. The reason it's down is because the cash flow is negative, is because it relates to capitalized software investment. Now, I do think capitalized software investment is a real cash outflow because you need to do this for the future. So that's why that operating cash flow. But if you remember, they mentioned that they're decreasing that software development by 40%. So that could actually harm their future, or it could be beneficial. Maybe they've done most of their spending on that for the future, maybe for the next 5 to 10 years. That's all they have to do. And that does mean this company could be profitable and cash flow positive within the next year. Anyway, so let's have a look at the chart. And you'll notice, as we have a look at Beamtree, the share price had been under pressure. Yes, share price would move into a nice little uptrend back in August. You can see some nice volume coming through. Beautiful breakout. Share price went from about 22 cents up to 38 cents. Now, that day when the share price did get to 38 cents, that's actually a negative day. Now, what I'm talking about, the candlestick, is actually good. It's not a good candlestick. A lot of selling did come in that day, and then the share price has dropped. Now, I do know a few people sold out because of that CEO resigning or something like that. So share price did drop from the low 30s all the way down to the low 20s. So we're talking about a 33% drop in share price in a fairly short period of time. Now the share price did increase 13% today. Not a lot of selling, but not really a shift in sentiment just yet. The other thing I've noticed, not high volume. So we didn't see a lot of enthusiasm from the sellers, and possibly all those who wanted to sell out have sold out already. So lack of enthusiasm from the sellers, not much enthusiasm of the lack of enthusiasm from the buyers, and not much enthusiasm from the sellers. So the share price has trickled up today, but at least it's up 13%. Can't say the same thing for some other companies like EZZ and BIO. Okay. Let's do Mineral Resources. I'm going to put Westpac as the stock of the day. So Mineral Resources down 9.63%. They did actually release 2 price-sensitive announcements, but the main one here is update on corporate governance, leadership succession. Now, if you remember, when I looked at Capital Brief for a brief moment, they did mention about, what was it mentioned? MinRes removal of Chris Ellison is positive. So Chris Ellison, who is the founder, managing director, is the CEO as well, I'm not sure. He's ousted, sort of. He's still going to be in that role, what was it, for 12 to 18 months, if I remember correctly. Let's open up the announcement. So it's not like he's fired now. He has to get out. They're packing his bags and he's being thrown out of the building. He's going to stay in that role for 12 to 18 months. So expect to remain in the role of managing director while orderly transition is effected within the next 12 to 18 months. Is that the right use of affected? It's affected. Yeah, I think it is affected. And James McClellan's to step down. So I think, and I do know there's a lot of people out there, a lot of investors out there who think quite highly of Chris Ellison. In fact, I do know some investors who have, the only reason they bought into MinRes is because of Chris Ellison. So if they see that he's leaving, getting turfed out, I'm not surprised the share price is down. And I think the reason the share price is down just shows you that there's a lot of people out there who do like Chris Ellison as the managing director and the co-founder of this company. And that's why the share price is down. So even though RBC says it's positive, there is a bit of a risk because we don't know who is going to be running this company moving forward. And they might be the complete opposite to Chris Ellison. In fact, they could be completely awful and do significant harm to this company. So there is an increased risk because now we don't know who will be leading this company forward. So that is a risk, and that's why the share price is down. And particularly, it's a risk when the person who's been ousted is highly thought of. If we thought Chris Ellison was disastrous, he was terrible, and he's been turfed out, sometimes you see the share price rally by a fair bit because that's good news. Okay, so let's have a look at MinRes share price or chart. And this one it's been volatile. It's been all over the place the last few months, as low as $30, and then rallied all the way up to 56, almost doubled in a fairly short period of time, all the way back down to 32, starting to rally, and then it's pulled back. A lot of volatility right now. If I was a day trader, I would be loving MinRes, and the volume has been high too. So really stark increase in volume, distinct increase in volume since August. Compare that to what we saw during the rest of this year. It's night and day difference, the volume. That's what I'm going to talk about when it comes to MinRes. Now on to Westpac, because Westpac did release their results, their financial results. There is a reason why the banks release their results at different times, and I forget why. Why do ASX banks release results at different times? I remember reading this many, many years ago. Or, no. I remember reading this a long, long time ago, and it was actually quite interesting. The reasoning was quite interesting because they don't release the results at the same time. And when I mean same time, I mean the normal period. So Westpac released their results today, and NAB released different. I forget. Anyway, okay, let's have a look. So a lot of announcements by Westpac today. Which one should we open up? Let's have a look at the media release. Okay, so first thing to note is Westpac is expensive, which I think has a PE ratio of 17. I could be a little bit wrong there, which means market is expecting some growth. You won't buy a company who's not growing with a PE ratio of 17. That's just silly because also the dividend yield's not that high. So we expect a bit of growth when it comes to Westpac. Now, you might say share price is up, so the market liked it. So let's have a look at the growth of Westpac. Okay, profit down 3%. In fact, return on tangible equity down 11%. Earnings per share down 2%. They do have a dividend of $1.51, so total dividends $1.51. So if you look at the dividend yield, it's not that good. We're talking about 5%. It's not that good. But a $1 billion increase in share buyback program. Now, I do have a problem with this. So this is, in my opinion, not a good capital allocating decision from management. Now, you could disagree with me, but the time to do a share buyback is when the company's shares are undervalued. And you can't say that when it comes to Westpac. So I have a feeling this is one of the reasons why the share price of the banks rallied, because they started doing share buybacks or just doing an increase in dividends. And the Australian investing public loved it. Anyway, this is to expectations. Now, maybe it was slightly below or above expectations, but I don't expect much growth in the banks over the next 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. In fact, there's a much more likelihood that the banks actually drop their profits over the next 5, 10, 20 years. So these are not growth companies. And they're being priced right now, particularly CBA, as a growth company. So I have no interest in the banks when it comes to the companies. Now, when it comes to the chart, a little bit different. So the banks I still think are looking good. Yes, banks are still looking good. I think the uptrend not under threat just yet. We need to see the banks or the Westpac to get above that highs we saw or it saw back in September 23rd, 24th. And the share price then was 33.60. So it's a little bit off from there now, but we need to see it get above that. If it doesn't, I think there's a chance we might see a bit of a sideways movement in the share price and then eventually the share price will drop. I'd say that's the most likely movement if we do see the share price going sideways. Anyway, so not that interested in this particular company, but the chart actually still looks okay. No complaints. Okay, that's all I've got for this video. 40 minutes long. If you have any questions, any thoughts, leave those in the comment section of this video. Otherwise, I'm not a financial advisor. If you do need financial advice, make sure you seek out someone who is qualified and can speak to your own financial needs. That's it for this video. Have a good day.